Ben is in Kingston. Ben, good evening. What's your question?
Hi, Ben. Hi, Daniel. Daniel. Yes. So my question is regarding. I'm calling on behalf of my wife. It's just regarding her resignation from the care home. So she works as a senior carer in a care home, and she's been working over 8 months or so, still on probation, and the care home's sort of threatening her to give a resignation in if she doesn't take the COVID jab. She's recently found out she's pregnant, so she's a bit anxious about taking the jab. So I don't think she's going to take it. So she just needs to sort of find out what her options are, considering she's on probation.
Well, Ben, first of all, congratulations on your wife being pregnant.
Thank you very much.
Is it your first?
It's the first, yes.
It's your first. Okay. Can I ask a personal question before I answer the question? Why,
Yeah, sure.
if she's just found out she's pregnant, why hasn't she had the jab in the previous 6 to 9 months?
Well, according to her, she's just been a bit anxious about the whole thing. She was waiting for her doctors to give her authorization because she had a few underlying sort of health issues.
Okay, so
originally,
it's a general vaccine hesitancy because of health concerns, as opposed to a belief that vaccination is a bad thing per se.
That's correct.
Okay, fine, I understand. Yeah. Right, so you will know, but I'm saying this for people who don't have wives working in care homes. You will know that a new law has been passed making it unlawful after the 11th of November for any care home to employ somebody or allow someone into their premises unless they're a resident or a relative of a resident or an emergency worker, preventing care homes from allowing anyone into their property, including staff, who hasn't been fully vaccinated. And that comes into force on the 11th of November. And care homes have no choice but to dismiss staff who haven't been vaccinated because it's illegal for them to let them through the door. Now, there's a couple of exceptions. The first is if there are clinical grounds for not being vaccinated. Okay. Now, the difficulty with that is that the clinical grounds have to be accepted clinical grounds under something called the Green Book. The Green Book's going to be something your wife is very familiar with, but it's the Bible on vaccines produced by Public Health England. And what that says is that there is no known risk associated with giving inactivated recombinant viral or bacterial vaccines, which is what the vaccines are, during pregnancy or while breastfeeding. So your wife isn't going to be able to rely on the clinically unable to have the vaccine defence because Public Health England says that pregnant women can have the vaccine safely. Now, I understand your concern. I understand her concern. Doctors said that thalidomide was safe. And, of course, we all know what happened with that. But nevertheless, legally, the care home is not going to be allowed to employ her after the 11th of November under these new laws, unless she can bring a claim, unless she can bring herself within not having the jab because of a disability. You said she had some health concerns in the past.
That's right.
Do you mind me asking what they were?
Well, she hasn't sort of opened up so much. I think it's more sort of asthma related, sort of something to do with her pains or something from her stomach. I don't know the exact details. I'm not a medic. Let me make it absolutely clear. I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical advice. But my understanding is that the vaccine is actually recommended for asthmatics as opposed to being warned against. Am I right on that? Yeah, I think you are. I mean, that's one of her conditions. She had a few other sort of pain-related issues. I don't know what they were.
Okay, but pain-related issues aren't going to be a reason for not having the vaccine, I suspect. I'm afraid, Ben, I think your wife's going to be in some difficulty here, which is that she's going to have to make a choice.
That's right.
And it's a horrible, horrible choice to make, but she's going to have to make a choice between keeping her job in a care home or having the vaccine in circumstances where she's got real And I think for pregnant women particularly, understandable concerns. And I'm not saying there are medical grounds for pregnant women to be worried about the vaccine. The clear medical consensus is the vaccine is safe. But I do understand why some people are concerned about it, which means she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Legally, the care home must dismiss her by the 11th of November, or they are not only committing a regulatory offence and could have their licence pulled, but they're potentially committing a criminal offence and could face a £50,000 fine as well if they allow her to stay.
Okay.
So she's going to be dismissed unless she has the jab, I'm afraid, Ben.
That has to be the case. Right, okay, no, that's fine. I mean, she was looking at all her options, before she takes the jab. That's fine. It was just a bit of clarification, really, just to see if there was anything I can do to help out in terms of advice. But no, that's been really helpful.
All right, Ben, thank you. And this won't help your wife because she's only worked, you said, for 8 or 9 months. But there's a slightly different situation if you're in a care home, you're in the same situation as Ben's wife, and you've worked for more than 2 years. Because then you have a right to claim unfair dismissal, and you could bring an unfair dismissal claim either if the care home didn't follow a fair procedure before dismissing you, for example, warning you that the failure to get vaccinated could lead to dismissal, or, more significantly, if they had alternative jobs available which weren't in a care home, perhaps they're in a separate administrative centre, and they didn't consider you for that role and offer you that role if you're the best fit for it. But Ben, because your wife has worked for less than 2 years, that potential claim isn't available to her.